Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Women in Security and Privacy podcast, where we celebrate amazing women trailblazing in those industries. I'm your dopest hostess with the mostest, Nicole. So glad that you guys came back to join me for another episode. We are recording live again from the conference floor here at RSA 2026, and I am here with the phenomenal, genius, accomplished, gracious, talented, effervescent, stylish.
I can just retire right now. I'm telling you. Look, that describes you too, as well.
I appreciate you, friend.
Yes.
But I'm here with the Afia Phillips, the CISO of the day. How are you, Miss Afia?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I am too.
Because you are phenomenal.
Thank
you are
you.
all things amazing.
I appreciate you.
And I'm so happy to have a friend like you.
Aw,
And
yeah.
an honor to be here.
I'm so thrilled that we're having this conversation.
Yes.
The funny thing is, so I usually start the episode talking about how we met, and we kind of just had a full circle moment because Adam just came up.
He
It was
was
amazing.
there. He
Shout
was
out
at
to
the
Adam.
event.
Yes. So Afia and I met. Was this last year or year before?
Year before last. I know.
goodness.
Already coming up on 2 years.
2 years.
Already.
So we met at the Team 8 CISO Village
Yes.
Summit.
Yes,
You know,
we
I
did.
had been invited to that multiple times, but it was always in Tel Aviv.
Oh, wow. Yes,
Always in Tel
I
Aviv.
remember them saying that.
And
Yep.
I was just like, I just don't have 3 days to go halfway across the world, do an
Exactly.
event, and come
I
back.
know, I
So
know.
when I heard they were having
Yes.
it in Silicon Valley, I was like, I had to go. And Afia and I were the only.
Yep.
We were
That's
the
true.
onlys.
We were. The onlys. Yes.
And so
yes.
it was, I'll never forget, we were crossing paths
I
on the
know.
walkway, and I was just
Yes.
like, no, we're
Yes.
friends now. And we were inseparable.
Exactly.
The entire event.
The entire event.
Yeah.
And then after that, we stayed in touch.
Yes.
And our friendship just blossomed.
It really has.
We just clicked.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just kind of know when you meet someone.
Yeah.
And right away, like I felt like you had my back.
I do.
Right away.
And do.
I said. And then I found out later just how just amazing you are.
Aw, Afia.
And everyone knew you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I late to the party? Like, where have I been? No, but you were amazing.
Thank you.
And I know I thanked you before, but
Yeah.
you just really, really, really had my back. And
Yes.
even there, like, you inspired me in many
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
You did.
Same.
Yeah, some things you
Same.
said to me.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? I need to consider that, and I need to make some adjustments.
Yeah. Well, thank you
And
for
that's
trusting my counsel.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And I appreciate your counsel because you done talked me off the ledge a few times, okay? A few times.
That's okay. That's what good friends are
It
for.
is. It
you have
is.
to do that.
We do.
yeah.
We
You
do.
have to be truthful. You have to be honest,
Yes.
with your friends.
Yes, you do.
Because you have to. You can't sugarcoat.
Yeah.
You can't hide. I mean, you want to be kind,
Of
right?
course.
You don't want to just go in and say, look, you're doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But, I mean, in, growing our relationship, I felt so comfortable with you
Yeah.
because you had a way
Yeah.
to just help me along my journey.
Yeah.
Where I felt like just I can tell you anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
I
we tell
always knew
each
it was
other
coming from a
everything.
great place.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
We're not afraid just to open up. And
Yeah.
we tell each other stuff where some folks would be like,
Y'all are
that's
weird."
TMI. Okay, why? Do you need to say all that? We don't care.
We don't.
It's like,
We
that's
don't.
what, that's the beauty of our
It
relationship.
is.
And
It
I love
really
that.
is.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that you agreed to come on the podcast because I get to share a little bit
Yes.
of the way you've inspired me with your story and you're accomplishing so much. And I just know that so many
Thank you.
professionals,
Thank
not
you.
even just women, but professionals are going to be so inspired
Oh,
by your
I
journey.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
of
Thank you
course.
so much,
So
Nick.
tell me what it is
Yes.
that you do. Like, what's your title? What does that mean? Because many companies
Okay.
will call many things one thing, but we all know it's very layered.
Very layered, very, and I believe many women who are in this role as a CISO, or whether it's BISO or just in these roles, I believe that we're like superwoman. We are. We are superwoman to these
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in like a way that I'm tooting my horn or anyone else's. It's just more so that in my particular role, I support Little Caesars Pizza Company. And a lot of people, when I say I'm the CISO at Little Caesars, they think, okay, just the pizza company. But no. So our organization, which is the Ilitch Organization, we have like 10 other brands we support.
Wow.
From Detroit Tigers, Detroit Red Wings. We have a distribution company, a food manufacturing company, a development company. We have the arenas, Little Caesars Arena, Comerica Park, Fox Theater,
Oh,
other
wow.
amphitheaters. We have a large portfolio of companies.
Yeah.
And so being able to manage cyber from a shared services perspective, it's challenging day to day because in the morning I could be looking at a report for PCI compliance for our stores. And in the evening I could be looking at, okay, what's going on from a cyber perspective at Comerica Park, right? Or Little Caesars Arena or, any of our entities that we support. So it keeps it very interesting,
Yeah.
right? Because you never know what's around the corner, but it's a lot. So
Yeah.
that's why I say superwoman because I take it on, head on,
Yeah.
and I have a wonderful team behind me.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, building your team.
Yes.
So that, and they're really the heroes, right? They're the superheroes.
Yeah.
And so I help to navigate through all of that, right? So that we all can be successful.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so I didn't realize that you guys had that many brands.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of them.
There's a lot of brands.
There's
So
a lot
how
of brands.
big is your team?
Well, my team, I have like 30 plus.
Okay, so you've got numerous brands that you're managing.
Yes.
How did you even get into cyber?
Oh, wow. So that's been a long journey. So I started out right after 9/11 because, that was when the terrorist attack happened on the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies were getting more and more concerned about cyber terrorism,
Yeah.
right? And so I was very interested when I thought about what are the possibilities of an attack, via the digital space. And that became like the trending topic for some time, right? Because before that, there was cybersecurity, of course,
Yeah.
but people were not taking it as serious,
all.
right? Not at all. And so when that happened, of course, a lot of companies started. So I went to different trainings to get more education about it,
Yeah.
also pursued certifications. And I was on the team to help start the very first cybersecurity division for the city of Detroit.
Oh, wow.
And so me and a couple other people, we started the whole division, and basically we did so many different things. Like
Yeah.
we pushed out antivirus on all the computers. If you can imagine back then,
That's crazy.
maybe a quarter of the computers had antivirus
You
on
cannot
them.
live without.
That's unheard of right
Yeah.
now, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, we started that up. We did this citywide initiative to get that up for all the different agencies.
Okay.
Then there was a lot of awareness and training that I led, a lot of email security back when GroupWise, I don't know if you remember GroupWise. Look, I'm telling my age, right? GroupWise was a thing. So Guava was like the security filter for that email system.
Yeah.
So pushing that out, also configuring like firewalls, routers, switches, making sure that the access policies are in place and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So it was a huge beginning for me to actually do something ground level and build it up.
Yeah.
So that was a great experience for me to kind of start and catapult me into the future of cyber and where my career is today.
Yeah, you literally, as I'm listening to the projects that you spearheaded for the city of Detroit, like you literally built the infrastructure of that security program.
I sure did. And it was me and, like I said, a couple externals who were experts, and I was learning from them too, right? Then also there were a few people who were more so on the infrastructure side,
Yeah.
who more so by default were involved in those projects as well and helped from the security aspect, and also on the PC support side as well. So it was more of like a group effort.
Of course.
But I was more so, I would say, like the name and the face for cybersecurity there in the beginning. Yeah.
I think that is such a unique way to come into this industry and such a great
Yes.
learning experience.
Definitely. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And now I understand and I value it so much. And if I take just one step back, when I was in school,
Yeah.
before I graduated, I was on their help desk. So I was taking in like tier 1 and tier 2 type of support calls,
Yeah.
right? People are calling saying, "Oh, my computer it's frozen up. It won't start up," and all
Yeah.
those things. And so that was more so my way of understanding IT. And from like I would say purely like a technical perspective,
Yeah.
what are the things that could go wrong? How do we handle these things, right? And also from a customer service perspective too,
Yeah.
like that soft skill,
Yeah,
right?
so important.
And so it was very good at that ground level, and then going into that next phase
Yeah.
of all the other type of support, and after 9/11, and then actually building my cyber career from there to
Yeah.
KPMG, which I was grinding at KPMG.
Listen.
Anybody who worked for any of those big four public
I was at
accounting companies.
PwC. Let me tell you
Exactly.
something.
You are grinding. You are grinding. So I did that for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, I moved to Daimler, where I became like the audit manager there for a few years there in that role.
Okay.
And then after that, it was so funny. Our CIO in that region,
Yeah.
he said, "You know what? You have identified too many high risk issues, and I need to bring you on my team. You need to come on my side." So he,
Okay.
yes, and he
Interesting.
ended up being like my biggest advocate. I always tell everybody that story, but he ended up being my biggest advocate because we just grew a very great relationship. He just big mentor for me,
Yeah.
and he gave me a ton of opportunities there.
Yeah.
And eventually, before I left, I moved into the global CISO role for Daimler Financial Services, which at the time was Daimler Mobility. And that prepared me, all that experience there, like developing their first strategy,
Yeah.
cyber strategy for
Yeah.
Daimler Mobility there, and then having that global role, it prepared me for moving into a role as CISO for Little Caesars.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So were you with the city of Detroit before you went to KPMG?
Yes.
So you actually started in tech, then cyber, then moved out to audit, and then back into cyber.
Yes, I did, for sure.
That's an amazing career
yes.
path.
Yes.
So funny. I didn't know you were an audit manager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for
I worked in
sure.
audit for like the first half of my career.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I want to dig into this KPMG stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Before I even go to KPMG, let's start at the help desk piece because I know a
Yes.
lot of young people who are looking to transition into cyber get their start at the help desk.
Yes. Yes,
Right?
for sure.
What advice would you have for somebody who's working in a help desk role that's looking
Yes.
to transition into cybersecurity?
I would say, first of all, understand, okay, you might not think it's glamorous, right? But you are in a perfect position
Yeah.
to understand the different issues that could be going in the technology area, and also that security piece, right? You are the first line to receive those complaints, those problems, those issues are
Yeah.
reported to you. So you have a very great look at what's going on around the whole ecosystem when
Yeah.
it comes to technology and the issues. So just really value that position you're in now.
Yeah.
And then I would say I would start talking to the CISO there, right? And also the people on the cybersecurity team, right? Sometimes you can't always talk directly to the CISO. It depends on the culture of the organization,
Yeah.
but there's other people that you can talk to just to learn about it. Also, there's so much research you can do for yourself,
Yeah.
right? There's so much information out there that you can just, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's going to Gen AI, whether it's buying books, reading books, podcasts, all
Yeah.
these different things. But you want to basically kind of just get an understanding of what it's about. And if you're still led to pursue more,
Yeah.
I would start talking to the cybersecurity leadership, seeing if maybe you can shadow some folks
What
and
products they
just
have
get
going
yourself,
on.
and get yourself prepared
Yeah.
for maybe it could be an entry level position or it can be a second level because
Yeah.
really you've learned a lot in your role. You know a lot about the organization, and so there's other things you can bring to the role. So it really depends on what may be available
Yeah.
and what that leadership, where they trust you in that role for the company. But I would say, yeah, definitely talk to folks there. Don't be afraid. Network with folks. Sometimes folks in IT, I'm an introvert. Look, you would never know it when I'm with Nicole, but when we're together, but I am an introvert, and
Yeah.
I know you have
I'm
some elements of that
such
too.
an introvert.
Nobody will believe that either. But the thing is, what I learned is you have to make those connections.
You do.
You have to.
You do.
Because when something comes up, say for instance, I'm looking for a cybersecurity engineer or whatever, position on my team. If I've talked to you, I understand your interests. I understand that maybe you're creative, you're curious, you're so many things. You may not have all the requirements that I was looking for, but I might be willing to give you a chance because
Right.
I've gotten to know you and I believe in you. Or I could have a fellow CISO who's looking for someone that basically you fit that criteria.
Yeah.
And I would say, hey, I know this person. I could recommend you for that position, right? So that's what I would say, definitely.
I like the learning
Yeah.
aspect of it too. One of the
Yes.
things that I got from what you were saying is it's not a glamorous role, but you're face to face with the users.
Yes, you are.
Right?
You're
And
face to
that's-
face with the users for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And many people take that for granted. Like users can make or break your cybersecurity
can.
program. Users make up the culture of your organization. We know it comes from leadership on down. But they are the people who make up the company. They're day to day doing the business operations or IT functions or whatever the case may be within that company.
Yeah.
They can be in housekeeping, whatever more janitorial services or what have you.
Yeah.
But they have access to your assets.
That's right.
Whether they're digital or physical. So you really want to make sure that you consider your users. It's not just those people who are logging in because there's actions behind
That's right.
what those people are logging in and what they're doing.
Yeah.
We know social engineering is
That's what the bad actors always go for because it works.
Yes.
Right? Like
They
identity
go-
truly is the new perimeter.
They go for the users. They do. They go for the users. So really just not taking that for granted and
Yeah.
understanding that you have to have the right programs in place to educate your users,
Yes.
of course, the right technology in place to mitigate that risk. What I like to think of from that perspective is I want to take a lot of the decision making away from my users when it comes to making those risky decisions. Because sometimes when you're enthralled in your day-to-day operations in your work, you're not always thinking about cyber first.
That's
not
right.
all,
I know I'm not.
and you don't know.
It's business
Stop
first
it,
for
Nick.
me. But
Yes.
it is, right?
Yeah. And then you could say if you have something going on in your life, and then you get this email, and it seems like, oh my goodness. And because of what's going on in your life, you click on the link or
Right.
you give your credentials or what have you. I don't want it so stressful for them where they feel like every single time I have to get it right. And I do want them to get it right every single
of
time,
course.
but I have to make sure the right technology is in place. So
account
I
for
can,
that human error.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
And so I can mitigate that risk as much as possible.
Yeah.
And they can more so not fully read. I don't want them to be so relaxed that they're not thinking.
Right.
But I don't want to put it all on their shoulders.
That's correct.
I want to have the right technical controls in place and also the right education and awareness for them.
Right.
All those things that I can do to help them, to meet them
Absolutely.
where they are, to grow their knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
And my team will take care of that technical portion. I think together that becomes harmonious and it
Yes.
just helps to mitigate that risk to a really good level. So
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
important.
It is. Users are just such an important element to the program. And a piece of the technology I want to kind of double click on also aligns with the relationship aspect of what you just talked about, because you can train your users, right? And you can have all, the appropriate technology and controls. But there are cases when your users will circumvent you.
Oh, they will. They will
Right?
circumvent you
And
for
we
sure.
have to be
Yeah.
able to understand or be
Yeah.
alerted when they circumvent security, whether it be through tooling. A lot of times it's
Yes.
through conversation and relationship.
That's true.
And we have a responsibility to understand why they're circumventing so we can figure out how to
Exactly.
elevate our program.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's so true, Nick. And I would say that many times they do that, they may say for convenience, right? Because they know, I can just do this really quick and I know if I tell them they're going to say no. And so what I do is I seek to understand, right? Okay, why do you need to do this? And then I try to maybe prepare a place for them where they can do it safely. And so that way I'm not shutting them down.
That's right.
I'm saying,
You
okay.
gotta find the balance.
Finding that balance so that we're able to secure the environment,
Yeah.
but also we're able to enable them to do their job easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, speaking of ease or the opposite of ease, challenge, I can only imagine that as somebody who moved from IT to cybersecurity when it was a very new thing, into audit, back into security. And one of the things I heard throughout your story is you built a lot. You did a lot of firsts. I can only
Yeah.
imagine that there were some challenges.
Yeah,
Is
for
there one
sure.
challenge that sticks out that you can walk us through? And not only just the challenge, but how you navigated and grew from that?
I mean, there's so many of them, I can say, especially being a woman in this field,
Yeah.
right? Any position of leadership as a woman, definitely we all know that there's going to be some challenges there. And because it's more so you have to prove yourself. You feel you kind of continuously have to prove yourself. And also being a woman of color, that's like, kind of double on top of it, right? And so I would say one of the challenges, one of the greater ones I can think of is when I was at Daimler and my boss at the time, he was the global CIO, and he basically selected me to run the project of creating the global strategy, right? And so I did partner with, it was a senior manager on the business side, which was great. It was a great combination there. But here I am. I'm a girl from Detroit, right? The Daimler, of course, a global German organization.
Yeah.
Girl from east side of Detroit.
What up, though?
What up, though, right? Exactly. And never even imagined, like, growing up to be working for a company like that and
Yeah.
seeing the world through Daimler. But the thing was, there were people who were looking like, why her, right? And so my road was not always easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not just me making it happen. I need the support,
That's
the
right.
different teams around me, right?
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people took their time or ignored me or did not respond. And I always made a way. It's more so I don't have time to keep convincing you.
That's right.
So whether the way is via escalation, which that would be like maybe like the last thing I want to do, right? But I would just find another way to get the information,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if it's not from you, maybe your team member will help me out with this. But it came to building those relationships so that I could get things done and I
Yeah.
could be, we could be successful in what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so that would happen a lot. People who just did not understand why did he choose her, and not just folks. I have a lot of great friends in Germany as well. And I'm not saying people from Germany who felt like why her in the U.S. It was some of my U.S. colleagues who were like why her because normally. There's normally someone from Germany who's normally leading that type of project. Sorry. So a lot of those challenges, but I think as time went on and they saw what we were really doing, how it was going to change the
Yeah.
organization, and they understood how important it was. I was reporting to the board of management on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, that was an amazing experience, right? On me, from the U.S., reporting to the board of management where you have leaders from all different parts of the world there, right? And I'm explaining to them what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how much stronger and more secure we're going to be at the end of it. And it was highly successful. And so it really basically, I think it moved us up a lot in terms of being able to acknowledge what we had as a company,
Yeah.
valuing that and having a strong program in place that met that business strategy and the needs of the organization and just, allowed them to feel comfortable and move forward in their goals. So yeah, it was a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And what I would always do though, and I would tell everyone, you're always going to have naysayers, especially as you become more and more successful. Don't waste your time. It's like you're majoring in minors. Dust it off your shoulders. Keep moving on. Stay on your square. Even if, sometimes folks are disrespectful. For me, I would ignore it until a point. And sometimes you do have to address it because
Right.
they also need to know
That's right.
that they should not be disrespecting you,
That's
right?
right.
That they
And that
you
you
have
ain't
earned.
nobody to play with.
You come on, look.
Play with somebody else.
Like Nicole said, you ain't nobody to play with, right? And so definitely, you want to make sure you stand up for yourself. You don't want to be a pushover. That's
right.
it, right?
That's right.
And so you're going to have that, but you have to stay on your square because many of those people who did that, guess what? They're still first line managers. They're still where they were when I left the company.
Right.
And I'm where I'm at, right?
And I love that.
Hi, haters. No. That's wrong. Look, that's the energy I get when I'm with her. Look, that's what we get. That's what we get. I'm
Every
telling
time.
you. Yes,
Every time.
yes, yes.
But you know what I love about all of that. They couldn't fathom supporting you.
Yeah.
But it actually became a blessing in disguise because you built resilience from that.
That's so true.
And
That's so true.
it made the victory of the program being successful even sweeter because you
Yes.
did it in spite of that.
I did it in spite of that. And I would say that's a lot. That's the theme of my career, I would say, just growing and succeeding in spite
In
of.
spite of success, in spite
of.
I was going to name the
Exactly.
episode High Haters, but I like success in spite.
Exactly.
In spite
I'm
of.
telling you, because along each step in my journey,
Yeah.
there was always just something or somebody. It's mainly somebody who believed that they could stand in the way. But what God has for me, it is for
That's
me.
right.
And if it didn't happen, it wasn't for me.
That's right. That's
Yep,
right. That's
exactly.
right.
So,
Now,
yep.
I can also imagine, just as much as there are big challenges that were defining moments, I'm sure that there are many accomplishments that you have.
Yes.
What's something that you're really proud of? Like something maybe where you surprised yourself in your career?
Okay. I can say one thing I'm really proud of. When I was at Daimler, I have some things at Little Caesars too, but let me just start there because it's one of the things that I'm like, as far as my career is, I always, think of this, what I built there.
Yeah.
So there was a program I built called Girls Get IT.
Okay.
And so basically what we did was we took in high school girls for a co-op program. So we brought them in. It was like an 8-week program. We did this every year. It became a yearly thing, but we brought them in and we created a program for them. So every 2 weeks, they would rotate to different areas in IT, whether it was programming, web development, also cybersecurity, of course, infrastructure. So they would rotate and get hands-on experience in those different areas.
Yeah.
And so that really helped them understand, okay, do I really want to go into IT? Do I want to major in computer science or whatever program once they went to college after they graduated? And so to be able to mentor those girls, give them that opportunity, which I've never had when I was in high school.
Yeah.
No one ever, especially not from a big company like Daimler, right? Never had those opportunities, but to bring that to them. And then also some of them started out, they were kind of like, I think I like technology. I'm not sure. But at the end, they were like, yes, I want to major in computer science. I want to be in technology. Just to see them grow, learn and grow. It just really touched me, right? Because I love to mentor. I love to give back because I know I was that young girl who didn't have a clue. I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I started at Wayne State, I think I wanted to be a psychologist.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Business administration.
Okay.
And then I was like liberal arts. I was all over
Everywhere.
the place. I was everywhere. And then, I said, I believe I like technology. I like video games.
Yeah.
That's what I like video
Girl, you
games.
should be over here with me.
Exactly. I said, I love video games. So let me see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And that's what started my journey. It was just that feeling of, I believe, I like this. It wasn't so loud and clear like, you should go into computer science or anything like that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that, but it was just more so, it was a good feeling. It was more so my conscience telling me, this could be the right path.
Yeah.
That curiosity. And also just really following my gut instinct. I'm going to explore this further.
Yeah.
And then from there, this,
magic
look at
happened.
where I'm at now.
Yeah. I love that you created that program for young ladies for many reasons.
Yes.
First, like you said, when we were in school, there were not a lot of programs.
No,
right?
not at
I think
all.
I mentioned to you the other day, I was a member of this summer program called Upward Bound, and we used to take all these different classes, and I was taking a coding class.
Yes.
I hated it.
I hate coding. I can't stand coding. Okay, yes.
So bad.
Yes.
And I didn't really, it just wasn't my thing. But what I didn't know, while we focused on like tactical capability, nobody talked about how that could yield a career in technology, right? Or software engineering. I didn't know what a software engineer was.
And that was the thing. That was the whole premise, like, for Girls Get IT.
Yep.
Because we wanted them to know the possibilities.
And that's the thing. And we talk a lot about how we are the onlys.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
And what a wonderful space it was to be in, though, right?
Yeah.
You look at our leadership levels, and the numbers are changing.
Yeah,
they are
the numbers
starting to move up when it comes to
Definitely.
women in cyber.
For sure.
But I think the challenge, if we really get down to the root cause of root causes, but one of the root causes of why there are such few representation of women is I think we have a pipeline problem,
I think so too.
right? And I think it
Definitely.
starts at that level, high school
Exactly.
girls.
I think that's a very pivotal level there because, at that level, they only know mainly what they see,
Right.
right? And many times, like you said, there's more now, but,
Yeah.
there wasn't a ton of us in these positions, right?
It's still
So, yeah, that's true. It's getting better,
Yeah.
but but the thing is that if you really don't see someone who maybe look like you, it could be a woman in those positions. If you don't see someone, then you kind of don't know, like, can
Yeah.
I actually do this? If you only see men in those
Right.
roles,
Right.
like sometimes you're like, I don't know if that's really for me. I
Right.
want to do something different. And so it's more so like being able to influence them at that level.
Yeah, you equip them with
before
language and
it's-
experience.
Yes, definitely.
Right? And you spark their curiosity, and now they know it's an option. There's an opportunity.
And you want to catch them early before
you
they go
better.
off to college, right? Because that way that they can know they're going in, like,
That's
this is
right.
what I want to do.
That's right.
And they get into a computer science program, and
Yeah.
hey, the rest is history. So,
Yeah.
we definitely want to catch them early.
Yeah.
Yep.
What advice would you have for someone who wants to be a security leader?
Security leader. So, I would say, from my experience,
Yeah.
I believe that you really don't focus on the technology all the time because, we have our techie leaders, there's no problem with that. But the people leadership is really what's going to be important, right? Because you can know all about the technology, you can know how to configure something from A to Z.
Yeah.
But if you don't spend that time to understand your people
Yeah.
and understand what matters to them, individually, they're all individuals.
Yep.
Just like we're individual leaders, they're all individuals. So you have to really connect with your people
Yeah.
to build a strong team and make sure that once you focus on that, the other things will come into play.
Yeah.
But also on the other end of that, if you're someone who's maybe not as technical, but you do have those people leadership skills, you want to build up that technical part.
Yes.
Because you want to make sure that your team can rely on you to give them direction if they
Right.
need it.
Right.
And that's not the configuration things. It can be from a strategy perspective. How do I move forward with this? Should I consider isolation? Should I consider tweaking these controls? Should I consider just different aspects? You want to understand what those possibilities are.
Yeah.
And you want to talk with knowledge and intelligence on that, right? So you're not going to know everything and be
Yeah.
comfortable with that,
Yeah.
right? But being able to give them that proper leadership and guidance, it goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. So what I'm hearing is, in order to be an effective or ideal or successful security leader, you need both the people leadership
Yes.
skills and the technical aptitude.
You do.
Yeah.
You need a balance of both for sure.
Yeah.
I've always been I'm an empathetic leader. And so it's really what I love to see, though. One of the highlights of, I would say, my career
Yeah.
is that I've had like super techie people report to me, right? And they don't give a care about people's people leadership. They don't care about how you feel. They don't care about any of that stuff. But by the time that after a year or two working with me,
Yeah.
they're like, you made me a little mushy about things,
I
right?
love that.
No, but it's like I understand the people side, and I have one who's like, he's one of the best people leaders I know, and he didn't start
Wow.
like that.
Really?
He did not start like that. He started, and he'll know if he watches this podcast, he was arrogant, knew it all, had all the answers. Everybody went to him, super technical. And, just being under me and my leadership,
Yeah.
he realized that he can only go so far.
That's the truth.
He can only go so far with that type
Yeah.
of mentality.
Yeah.
So, I was able to kind of influence him
Yeah.
and shape him along his journey. And like I said, he's one of the best
I like
from a
that.
people perspective. He is.
I
And
love
he has
that.
a great balance now
See?
because he still
See?
has that technical side of him,
Right.
but also he leaned in. You have to lean into that people
Yes.
side. Don't be
Absolutely.
afraid. Lean into it, and it can do wonders for your leadership.
What's next for you?
Oh, what's next for me? Wow. AI is next for me. It's next for everyone, right?
It's now.
It's now. It's now, and it's going to be next and next
That's
and
right.
next after
Yes,
next.
it is.
But,
Yes, it is.
But no, but to be more, serious and honest about this, there's different possibilities for me for what's
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
So from a cybersecurity perspective, of course, I'm leaning into that AI aspect because we're all on that journey. I helped to start our first AI task
I
force at
remember
Little
that.
Caesars, and we've grown so much from there.
Yeah.
We actually have an AI team there now who's kind of running with it. Also, it's more so how can we be proactive so that we can continue to enable our users to
Yeah.
be innovative, creative, but at the same time still protect our organization. So I'm looking at those ways and just strategies to help my team in that space. So
Yeah.
ultimately we can help our organization. Outside of that though, my creative side,
Yes.
that side of my brain is kind of really moving forward and I would love to do something on the creative side. I'm really into fashion.
Yes.
Nicole knows this.
Yes.
And so I want to do something in that space as well. I'm not sure exactly what that will be.
Yeah.
And we talked about an idea yesterday too that it's creative ish, right, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So there's a few things. I'm sorry. I'm being so kind of discreet about it. I'm
No,
not talking
no, but
about
you know
it's
what
like
I
a
think it
mystery,
is?
but there's a
I
couple
think there's
things.
curiosity.
Yeah.
And I think you're like, hey, I know this is a lane and I'm
Yeah.
getting the itch. I
Yes.
haven't pinned it down yet.
Exactly.
But listen, when you do, you'll have to come back and talk to us
Yes, I
about it.
will. I would love to.
Yes.
I can't
That would be
wait.
phenomenal. Awesome.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate you making the time
Oh,
to sit
thank
with me.
you.
This has
I'm
been
so
so much
happy.
fun.
I know. It's been a ball.
It
I'm so
really
happy to
has.
be here with
Yes,
you.
thank you.
And I just, like I said, I can't say enough of great things about
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you.
so I can't wait to see all the great things you have in store too,
Thank you
Nicole.
so much. And I can't
Thank
wait to
you.
see what she's about to do. I want the fashion, I want the AI, I want the security.
All
I
of
want
it.
all
Look,
the
all of it
things.
rolled into
All the
one. Yeah,
things.
look.
Well, thank you
Yes.
guys for coming back to join us again for another phenomenal episode, if I do say so myself. And if you think the episode was phenomenal, you need to hit that like button. Okay, you need to hit subscribe. Why are you not subscribed to this
Hit subscribe.
podcast? Hit subscribe
Right away.
right away, and then make sure you share this podcast. Right, you text it to somebody, pop it on your LinkedIn page, leave a comment if you're on Spotify. Leave a comment and let us know how you feel about it, and leave us a 5-star review.
Yes,
Okay,
please
only
do.
5. Don't come over here with 4.
No.
We want 5.
Only 5.
All right, only 5. And you know where to
That's it.
find us. Next month, we every month we do the last Monday where we're dropping new episodes, and we cannot wait to see you there. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.